Scoliosis essentially means that your spine has shifted. So essentially we can get a shift in the lower back, which can create a shift in the upper back, or we can have a shift in the upper back that creates a shift in the lower back, and obviously we can have one in the neck too. Hey everybody, Dr. Luke Stringer here, Advanced Health Chiropractic down in South Loop, Chicago, and June is Scoliosis Awareness Month. Scoliosis is a real common condition that we treat down here in the office, and we get some awesome results with our specific chiropractic technique called chiropractic biophysics. What is scoliosis? There's several forms of scoliosis, but simply in layman terms, when you evaluate your spine from the front, you want to see the top bone meet the bottom bone and the plumb line. Scoliosis essentially means that your spine has shifted. So essentially we can get a shift in the lower back, which can create a shift in the upper back, or we can have a shift in the upper back that creates a shift in the lower back, and obviously we can have one in the neck too. Obviously a spine that looks like this is going to create stress and tension onto the joint, tissue, nerve. It's going to contribute to symptoms, pain specifically. Now, it's really important to catch this early because it's more common in girls than it is boys, and essentially it usually happens as we go through adolescence. We shoot up pretty quickly and the spine just struggles to stay in alignment. Unfortunately, traditional medicine, the treatment protocols are quite barbaric, they're old school, and they're not great. What does it involve? 23 hours of bracing. You put a brace on and you basically clamp where the curve is and you just try and shift it over time back into alignment. Is this effective? It can be. Do you want your kid, 12 years old, who should be outside playing with the friends, in a brace 23 hours a day? I don't think so. The second thing, which I find absolutely nuts, is where they drill holes in the base of your pelvis and then they run rods down the side of your spine so they can straighten your spine up and make sure it doesn't shift. Now, this has a time and place. If your curve is over 40 degrees, they recommend that. It should only ever be done when there's neurological compromisation within that nerve root, where essentially it's creating weakness, motor dysfunction, sensory dysfunction within that structure, within that organ. We should try everything we can before we get there, because once you have rods down your spine, it obviously limits your range of motion. You really can't move in that plane. It also increases the speed of degeneration in the joints above and below that area, because now they're required to move too much and they just break down quickly. So how do we address it at Advanced Health Chiropractic? We would obviously do a history, a consultation. We would then shoot x-rays, and our digital x-rays are going to be able to evaluate your alignment. Let's imagine we find a 20-degree shift in your lumbar spine. Can that be addressed through chiropractic? Absolutely. Is it non-invasive, non-surgery, non-drug approach? Yes, it is. We're going to show you our spinal traction of how we can address scoliotic curves and show you a really effective way that we can get it done without the use of drugs and surgery. So let's show you the traction. Alright guys, so obviously Malik is going to show you how we use the traction, but again, I can't stress enough that some real detailed evaluation needs to go into this before we use any form of traction. So again, in layman's terms, let's imagine Malik has scoliosis, and let's imagine that these middle lumbars have shifted to the right. So technically, this is now scoliosis. So obviously what we need to do is we need to contact the apex of that curve, so the steepest part of that shift, and then gently we're just going to apply Malik's own body weight plus gravity. And what happens is when we repetitively do this over time, it creates heat into the ligaments and it allows the spine to stretch back into its normal alignment. Now this obviously takes some repetition to get done, just like it took some repetition for us to break down. So essentially we're going to go through the traction setup of Malik for his scoliotic shift to the right. So this is essentially a Denerol, and this has been specifically designed for low back scoliosis, and essentially we're going to place the apex of that curve, so the steepest part of Malik's scoliotic shift, on the top of here. He's going to lay flat on his side. We're going to stabilize his head and his pelvis, and then we're just going to allow gravity over time to do its thing and bring that spine into alignment. So here goes. All right, Malik. So we're going to find, yeah, come in, Doc. So obviously we have the pelvis. We want to find just above the pelvis. Malik's going to come on down. He's going to slowly find that pelvis. We're going to work just above it. And Malik's going to slowly bring himself, I've got this fit. I'll put this in right at the end, and then he's going to get his shoulder nice and flat. He's going to place his head, and then we're going to bend his knees just a little bit, Malik. And we're just going to bring this in for you. Okay, so as you can see, this looks really simple, but we've just made sure Malik's in alignment: ears, shoulder, pelvis, heels, and then obviously through x-rays we know that Malik has that shift on the right in his lower back, and this is contacting right in those middle lumbars. Gravity is now being applied to the spine because Malik's spine has shifted that way. This traction is going to contact the apex and is going to slowly drive that curve in. Malik will start off here for around 5 minutes. He will then build into anywhere from 10 to 15, even to 20 minutes, depending on how much he can tolerate. Malik will do this 2 to 3 times a week. Why is he coming in so often? It takes time and repetition to change the shape of the spine. We would obviously supplement this with adjustments. We would then supplement this with physical therapy to essentially stabilize all those stabilizing muscles, and then obviously work against those muscles that are really engaged due to that scoliotic shift. If you're suffering with scoliosis, this is something we do all day, every day. We get really good results with. I encourage you to give us a call. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe and turn on the notification bell. If it's on Instagram, like and follow us back. See you in the next video.